Stat by Amar'e Sroudemire, Chapter 6. Hey, can you drop me off here? I said to Dad as we turned the corner in his truck. We were headed home after finishing up the job and we'd already dropped the other two guys off. What, right here on the side of the road? He said, and then he saw them too. Those your boys? Yeah, I said. We were rolling right up on Mike and Deuce as they walked down the sidewalk. Yeah, all right, said Dad, but instead of slowing down, he started speeding up. When he pulled up, even with them, he mashed his hand into the center of the steering wheel. Beep! The trunk's horn was really loud. Mike jumped about 2 feet in the air, and Deuce froze like a rabbit caught out in the open. Dad was splitting his sides laughing as I climbed down out of the truck, and, okay, maybe I was laughing a little too. Man, you guys, I said, you should have seen your faces. I imitated Deuce's, making my mouth really tiny and my eyes really big. Then they both got to work insisting that I hadn't seen what I just saw. Nah, Mike was saying. I was just a little surprised, that's all. I definitely wasn't. But Dad beeped as he pulled away and Mike jumped again. Deuce and I both started laughing at him and he just slumped down. Can't believe I did that, he said, shaking his head. Once the sound of the big truck faded away, the street was quiet and the three of us were just standing there. You definitely know how to make an entrance, said Deuce. All my pop's idea, I said. Where you guys headed? Big baseball game going on over in the park, said Deuce. Left you a message, but I guess you were getting your mow on. Timmy told me about the game. I think it's mostly his crew. Sounds cool, I said. That's what's in the backpack? Yeah, a couple of gloves, a ball, and some other things, said Deuce. His blue backpack was stuffed extra full today. It made him look even smaller than usual. We headed straight for the park and took all the shortcuts we knew, but the game had already started by the time we got there. Home plate was a flattened-out cardboard box. First base was a frisbee, and second was an old T-shirt. Excuse me. I pointed to the metal fence post they were using for third. I hope no one slides in, I said. Seriously, said Mike. Think I'd take that out? Timmy was Deuce's cousin. He called time when he spotted us and came over to talk. The first baseman doesn't usually just call time out like that, but then first base isn't normally a frisbee either. Hey, cuz, said Deuce. Hey, Big D, said Timmy. Any chance we can get in on this? Said Deuce. Yeah, most def, said Timmy, looking around the field. We already chose up sides, but we could definitely use another outfielder. That would save us a lot of time chasing the ball. And we could probably use a shortstop, too, now that you mention it. I can play in the outfield, I said. Yeah, big man, said Timmy. I know you can. We fist bumped. Timmy was a good guy. To tell you the truth, Deuce's whole family was pretty solid. Can't have all three of you on the same team, though, said Timmy. It's all right, said Deuce. We only have 2 gloves. We wound up playing the last 5 innings. It was a pretty fun game. I know it was good because I had twice as many grass stains on my shorts at the end of when I started. That and no one slid into that metal pole at third base. I was a little beat after that. I mean, I'd spent all morning pushing a lawnmower around in the sun and then played most of a baseball game. But it was Saturday. I was with my best friends, and the sun was still up. There's no way I was going home just yet. What next, guys? I said. Lake Wales wasn't a big town, so it's not like we had a ton of options. But that didn't matter because for me and my friends, the answer was always going to be sports. Could head over to the court, said Mike as he slipped on the backpack. His team had lost, so he had to carry it for the rest of the day. You got a ball in that thing? I said to Deuce, since it was his pack. Don't leave home without it, he said. We were all up for it. I hadn't got to play at all the day before, and they'd only played one short game against those older kids, and from the looks of them afterward, they had been more like ultimate fighting than hoops. We took our time walking over, just sort of enjoying having the day to ourselves. When we reached the court, they were still busting on me for a fly ball I missed in the outfield. The sun got in my eyes. At least that's what I told them. But when I looked over at the court, I thought I really was having trouble seeing. "Aw, man," said Deuce. "What are they doing here?" said Mike. It was the Hacks again. We'd never seen them before yesterday, but there they were for the second straight day, strutting around our local court like they owned it. One of them was scraping the bottom of his sneaker against the wire fence, and another one had just finished off a tall can of iced tea and tossed it at him. They were all shouting and laughing about something. "What do you think?" said Deuce. "Up for a rematch?" "I don't know, maybe," said Mike. "I'm still pretty banged up from yesterday, but at least we're at full strength now." He looked over at me. "Up to you," I said. I wasn't really at full strength after those hours of mowing and innings of baseball, but if my friends wanted a second shot at these guys, I wasn't going to say no. Mike and Deuce looked at each other. Deuce shrugged. "There probably won't even play the three of us," he said. "They wouldn't yesterday, and I don't see Roger anywhere." We looked up at the court, and the biggest guy was hanging on the rim after dunking the ball. They were so into themselves that they hadn't even noticed us yet. "Yeah," said Mike, "probably not. What do you think, Amar'e?" "Like I said, man, it's up to you guys," I said. "You're the ones who had to put up with their cheap shots. But you know I like to play for fun, and playing these guys today, it doesn't sound like much fun to me." "Yeah," said Mike, looking down at the scraped up knee he got yesterday. "Definitely not much fun." So it was a mutual decision. We weren't scared of those guys. We just didn't want to let those punks ruin a good Saturday. I looked at the bulky backpack. "What else you got in there?" I asked. "Got a Nerf football," said Deuce. A few minutes later, I had it in my hands ready to air it out. "Mike, you go long," I said. "And Deuce?" I know, he said. "Go short." We had a good time playing. I got my best grass stain of the day diving for one of Mike's passes. Still, it kind of bothered me that we'd let those guys kick us off our own home court.